Sarah stated that sows, in all the 20 years of research she's done in studying black bears, her and her colleagues, other biologists, have noticed that sows do not tolerate human disturbance in any way, shape, or form. Sows actually prefer the most secluded, wildernessy, more like public land, mountainous, thick wildernessy areas, furthest from roads, dirt roads, tar roads, highways, furthest from any type of buildings or human disturbance in general. But your boars, on the other hand, your male black bears, because their home ranges are so large, they're wandering. They're always coming in contact with a road or maybe a vehicle, or they may be smelling and seeing humans. There could be humans nearby where they're feasting on a berry patch or at a feed tree. Feed trees, what that is just oak trees, whether it be a red oak, black oak, pin oak, or white oak, acorns, or any other type of species of acorn, or beech nut, or other type of nutting tree, hard mass tree. If that's what a feed tree is, it's a tree that bear or deer or turkeys, how they hone in on, because those nuts are sweetest at that tree, or that particular feed, that tree that's dropping acorns is near good security cover, near water. They feel safest maybe feeding at that particular tree. So those boars travel in their home ranges feeding at feed trees. That feed tree might be close by, could be in someone's backyard, for crying out loud. Could be close by a road, close by some type of human residential area. But the sows, they wouldn't choose. In all of Sarah Lida's research, in all the years she's researched and followed black bears, the sows choose not to feed in areas like that. They choose not to utilize parts of their home range where there's human disturbance in any way, shape, or form. That's a really cool fact here. Really neat thing. What that means to me as a black bear hunter, mainly wanting to shoot boar black bear, like mature, big, old trophy male black bears, this is actually good for us hunters, those of us wanting to pursue the black bears, because the males' home ranges are so extensive, so large, they're wandering all over. They're going to eventually find your bait site, and they may focus on that bait if they're getting enough calories, enough food, enough nutrition to sustain them, to sustain their calorie intake, their daily calorie intake that they need day in and day out. Then they will stay there. They won't go far. They'll bed up close by that bait site and come each and every night, even to feed out your bait. If you're baiting each and every morning, keeping your baiting regimen to a T, and your pattern of baiting is the same, you don't alter it in any way, shape, or form, you bait at the same time each and every morning, that boar could very well keep feeding every night at your bait as long as he's getting enough. And he's going away with a full belly and feeling like he's getting enough of what he needs, enough nutrition. He's not going to go far. He'll bed close by. He'll go bed close by the nearest water source to drink plenty, get a lot of water. It's always a good idea to have your bait sites closest to water sources and nearby water streams, ponds, lakes, where a bear can get plenty of water. There's way more of a chance for your bait site to be found by a male black bear, a big old mature, big trophy boar, than a sow. And that's what you want as a black bear hunter. So that's a really good thing. But sows will still come and visit bait sites with cubs and stuff, with nursing cubs. Because they need a lot. Their cubs need a lot of food. They need a lot of food. Nursing sows needing to need to produce milk to feed their nursing cubs. They need a lot of food, and they're going to be attracted to a bait site. So it's not uncommon to have sows and cubs visiting bait sites, or a sow coming to a bait site. That can happen depending on where your bait site's established. But I want to end here by sharing a really cool story. On a Clay Newcomb podcast I listened to, Clay Newcomb, he had Randy Cross as a guest speaker and stuff, and a guest on his podcast. And Randy Cross is a black bear biologist based out of the state of Maine. He's now retired. He studied black bear for over 30 years of his life, but now a retired black bear biologist. And what Randy Cross's colleague found out from one particular bear that they captured, the radio collar and ear tag, this bear, she only lived to be 15 years old. She died at 15. They're not sure if it was by bait or natural causes or car collision. They're not sure how they lost contact with the bear. The radio collar probably fell off, and they found that, but not the bear. They don't know how she died. But what's really neat is her offspring, all her cubs, they went and lived and survived, lived into adulthood. They're cubs from this bear that Randy Cross studied for 15 years. They went on to mate and have cubs of their own, and so on and so forth down the line. What Randy Cross and his colleagues have found out that all the progeny after that particular bear, that 15-year-old bear that they studied long ago, all of her progeny after her, since her death, they're still alive to this day. Even after all the trapping, the bait hunting, the hunting with hounds, where the state of Maine, the majority of the black bear harvest, black bear kills are over bait sites. But all the progeny, all the bear to live on after this particular bear that Randy Cross says they're still alive to this day. They're surviving bait sites, surviving dog hunts, surviving live trapping. And there isn't a one, and also there isn't a one of these bear that have visited bait sites. What Randy Cross concluded and his colleagues concluded, with the best they could figure, is that sow, when she was young, she had a very bad experience at a bait site. That scared her real bad. And for the rest of her 15 years of life, she avoided bait sites altogether. And she went on to teach her cubs the same, to avoid and stay away from bait sites. Yes, sows, they actually, of an older mature sow giving birth to cubs, they're experienced and they teach their cubs valuable things that they need to survive, to go on to be do bear things and live out healthy, long life. And this sow did just such. She taught her cubs that bait sites are bad. Do never go to bait. She never visited bait site. When she passed by, ways away from a bait site, and the cubs they were attracted to that scent of that bait site, and the cubs wanted to go, she would not let them. She'd teach them and instruct them, teach those cubs to never ever trust a bait site. And then those cubs grew into adulthood and had cubs of their own. They did the very same thing. And that kept, what the biologists think is that's continuing on down the line. And so all the progeny of that one black bear that they caught many years ago and studied, she died at 15, all of her progeny since are not dying by way of bait sites. How neat is that? That's really cool. Now, black bear populations, they actually rely on sows. Black bear population, it's a population that is solely dependent upon sows to allow that population to flourish and to survive. And so it's very important that hunters are selective, that they try to target mainly just male black bears. And that's why baiting is so vitally important. It's easier to sex the bear at a bait site because they're close. They're within 10 to 20 yards. And the hunter can plainly tell if it's a sow, female bear, or a male bear. And they can guess the age and size and judge that bear. And they can be more of an ethical hunter and take the best bear, the bigger, more mature, older bear that's coming to that bait site. And that's what majority hunters do, the ethical hunters out there and such and so on. But so it's very important that sows are sustained, that their sows are able to go on to give birth to cubs. Sows, they only give birth about every 2 years, in some cases maybe 3 years. They keep their cubs with them for at least 2. In some cases, yearling black bear could still be with their mother, with a sow, for upwards of almost 3 years. Before that sow's able to come into heat and to mate again with a male black bear. So black bears in the black bear populations anywhere in the nation or anywhere in the world, those sows are only able to mate if they're actually able to have cubs every 2 years. They're only able to come into heat and mate every 2 years. And so that it's very important that we have a surplus of sows, healthy, mature, older sows in the population, spread out all over the state and stuff, to help keep that population sustained. But hunters are doing their part, utilizing their tags as a hunt. Remember, like I stated very intently, that hunting is a very important wildlife management conservation tool. And so we're doing our part as hunters, getting those males, shooting some here and there to help keep that carrying capacity of that population below threshold, so that there's no problems. So no problems can arise in the populations down the line in the future. So yeah, I just wanted to end with that little tidbit about the sows, how vital important it is that we have a sustainable amount of sows in the black bear population to keep the population thriving. All right, so I hope that you learned at least one thing here today. If you did, then I've done my job correctly, and I want you to smash that like button before you go, and subscribe to Spikes and Gills, and click the notification bell so you'll be notified of all future uploads if you're not already subscribed. I greatly appreciate your support and follow. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe now. And smash that like button before you go. Hey, drop some comments below. I'd love to hear from all my viewers. Leave some comments. Let me hear from you. Definitely click that like button. Subscribe to Spikes and Gills if you're not already. Really great. Appreciate the extra support and follow. This channel can't grow without your support. So I greatly appreciate everybody. I'll see you on the next one.